Welcome to Screen Scan. In today's episode, we'll delve into the 2023 movie titled No Hard Feelings. Be prepared for spoilers as we explore its narrative. Stay alert and enjoy the journey. Let's begin our exploration. The movie starts with a man named Gary who drives a tow truck. He goes to Maddie Barker's house to tow her car. Maddie, played by Jennifer Lawrence, comes outside to talk to Gary. She used to date Gary, but she stopped talking to him suddenly. She tries to make Gary feel sorry for her so he won't take her car. But then, a man she spent the night with comes outside in his underwear and touches her. This makes Gary decide to tow her car anyway. Maddie needs her car because she drives for Uber. Maddie puts on her rollerblades and hurries to catch Gary when he stops to get breakfast at a diner. She attempts to lower her car from the tow truck and drive away, but the car is still attached to the truck. As she awkwardly tries to drive off, Gary lifts the car up again. Because of what she did, Maddie gets arrested and is put on probation. She also finds out she owes a lot of money in unpaid taxes, putting her at risk of losing her home. Maddie works at a bar by the water in Montauk, New York, where she's always lived. She works there with her best friend, Sarah, Natalie Morales, and spends time with Sarah and her husband, Jim Scott MacArthur. Her boss notices Maddie's tough attitude when she argues with a customer who wants to buy a drink before the bar opens. During a break, Sarah shows Maddie an ad from a wealthy family looking for someone to date their son before he heads to college. They're offering a Buick Regal as payment. Maddie understands date really means having sex, but decides to do it anyway. She feels she has no choice and wants to take advantage of the rich family because they are part of the reason she's losing her house. The next day, Maddie goes rollerblading and arrives at the Becker family's house. She meets the parents, Laird Matthew Broderick and Allison Laura Benanti. They talk about their teenage son, Percy Andrew Barth Feldman, who is going to Princeton in the fall. Percy is very shy, awkward, and doesn't have many friends. He spends most of his time playing video games in his room. Even though they were hoping for someone closer to Percy's age, Maddie is 32, Percy is 19. Maddie convinces them that she's the right person for the job. But Laird and Allison warn Maddie that Percy can't find out about their arrangement. Laird and Allison suggest Maddie go to a dog shelter where Percy is working. She puts on a tight dress, hoping to attract his attention, and pretends she's interested in adopting a dog. Percy introduces her to Milo, a dog that used to work with the police but had to leave because it got addicted to cocaine. Maddie's strong advances make Percy uncomfortable, and he tries to leave early. However, Maddie offers to drive him home using a van she borrowed from Jim. When they get to her place, Percy feels threatened and uses mace on her. In pain, Maddie tries to explain she found him attractive, leading Percy to express his desire for a traditional date, which Maddie accepts. Afterward, Maddie returns the van to Jim and Sarah, humorously commenting that Percy is unfuckable. That night, Maddie takes Percy to a bar where she's friends with the waitress. She orders him a Long Island iced tea, which he doesn't like. Then, a man named Travis, who used to be Maddie's boyfriend, comes in. He shows his wedding ring, telling Maddie that her leaving him was the best thing that ever happened. He also warns Percy not to get too attached to Maddie. Later, Maddie and Percy go to the beach to go skinny dipping. Percy is hesitant, but Maddie convinces him to join her. Soon, 3 drunk teenagers arrive and steal their clothes, along with their wallets, phones, and keys. Maddie gets out of the water, fights the 2 boys and a girl, and gets their belongings back. When she returns to the water, Percy is upset by her fighting and tells her something is wrong with her. Maddie gets dressed and goes to her car. Percy, still naked, wants his phone back. When Maddie refuses, he jumps on the hood of her car, and she drives off with him on it. The police start to chase them. Maddie, worried about losing her license, drives fast and crosses train tracks just in time to escape the police, with Percy still on the hood and without his clothes. Maddie brings Percy back to her house in another attempt to seduce him. She tries to do a sexy dance for him, and then has him try to do the same until she sees a rash on his back, which he attributes to anxiety. Maddie applies lotion to his back as he starts to open up about his history, including the fact that his classmates made fun of him for sleeping in his parents' bedroom and spreading rumors that he was having sex with them, which is why he doesn't like to go out. Maddie also opens up about an embarrassing memory to Percy. The next day, Doug Kahn, a former classmate of Maddie's, visits her house. Doug is now a realtor and wants to sell her house at full price. However, Maddie declines his offer because she still intends to save the house. Later, Percy asks Maddie out on a real date, and she agrees. They head to an arcade, where they win prizes but eventually get kicked out because Maddie was playfully bothering another kid. Next, they visit a lighthouse, and Percy musters up the courage to ask Maddie for a kiss. She obliges, even though he's a bit awkward about it. During their conversation, Maddie shares that she has never left Montauk and has remained in the same house where she grew up. Her father gave her the house and some money to avoid any further contact with him and his new family. Later, they meet Percy's former nanny, Jody, who seems suspicious of Maddie. Maddie playfully retorts that Jody is a bit creepy for being a male nanny to a teenage boy. Later, Maddie and Percy have a special dinner at a fancy restaurant, almost like a mini prom since neither of them attended their high school proms. When Percy reveals that he can play the piano, Maddie encourages him to showcase his talent. Brimming with courage, Percy takes the stage and plays the song Man-Eater, captivating the entire restaurant. The crowd erupts in cheers and applause, and Maddie is equally impressed. However, things get interesting when a girl named Natalie, who also happens to be Princeton-bound, approaches Percy. She praises his performance and invites him to a party for other Princeton-bound students. Maddie, worried that Percy might end up sleeping with Natalie or someone else, tries to dissuade him from going. But despite her objections, Percy insists on attending the party. Maddie and Percy head to the party in a limousine. Inside, Maddie searches through a crowd of teenagers who give her unfriendly looks for being older. She finds Percy in a room with Natalie, feeling unwell from too much drink and an ibuprofen he took. Maddie helps him to feel better, but their moment is interrupted by the party host's parents, who ask Maddie to leave. After they leave, Percy says he is ready to have sex with Maddie in the limo, but after he tells her he loves her, she realizes he is too drunk and refuses to go through with it. Laird and Allison notice Percy's newfound confidence and cheerful demeanor, which he credits to his relationship with Maddie. However, Percy shocks them by declaring his decision not to attend Princeton, preferring to stay near Maddie instead. Concerned, Allison reaches out to Maddie, who is already reconsidering her involvement. Laird offers Maddie the car as a way to end their arrangement without affecting Percy's college plans. Unbeknownst to them, Percy is in the car and accidentally broadcasts their conversation through the speakers. He hears Maddie express her desire for the car without furthering their relationship, which deeply hurts him. Percy invites Maddie over for a lunch under the guise of introducing her to his parents. During the meal, he begins to drink wine and displays passive-aggressive behavior. Later, he and his co-worker, Crispin, take a Buick into the woods to tamper with it. They accelerate the car with a rock on the gas pedal, causing it to crash into a tree and get damaged. Returning home, Percy and Maddie decide to have sex and get it done once and for all, but the encounter is brief and awkward. Percy confronts Maddie about his knowledge of her true intentions, declaring he no longer wishes to see her and predicts her future is tied to Montauk. Gary eventually delivers the damaged Buick to Maddie, as it's registered in her name. She resumes her rideshare driving in the battered vehicle, while Percy retreats to his room, immersing himself in video games and ignoring Maddie's attempts to communicate through texts and calls. Once Maddie accumulates enough funds to repair her car and settle her tax debts, she celebrates with Jim and Sarah. However, their announcement of relocating to Florida for their expected child leaves Maddie disheartened, facing the prospect of solitude. Deciding to embrace change, Maddie reaches out to Doug, accepting his earlier proposition to sell her home. She finalizes the sale to Jim and Sarah, enabling them to remain and nurture their family in the home, while she begins to plan a new start in California. Maddie learns Percy is attending a Princeton event and seeks him out, but he remains distant, avoiding conversation. In a bold move to get his attention, Maddie jumps onto the hood of his car, mirroring an earlier incident, prompting Percy to drive away with her still on it. Their unexpected journey leads them through a beach, where a mishap with a barbecue grill causes Maddie to catch fire briefly before Percy drives into the sea in panic. Amidst the chaos, they share a moment of panic and search, leading to a heartfelt exchange and apologies. Reconciling, Maddie reveals her plans to move to California, with Percy expressing his happiness for her and affirming the significance of their connection. On the day Percy is set to leave for Princeton, he bids goodbye to his parents, Laird and Allison. Maddie arrives to escort him to university before her departure to California, surprising him with the adoption of Milo, signaling a new beginning for both. For more insights and breakdowns of intriguing films like this, don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for watching.